hurry up. This clip's getting long.
We're going to redo a lot of the turbo stuff. We've got a new exhaust manifold set up. It kind of moves the wastegate kind of in the more proper location for an S2000. This manifold we had on here was set up for like a S13, S14 BMW chassis.
Oh.
So this one is made from our friends at PFAB. It's made specifically for an S2000, but it moves the wastegate kind of up and out of the way, keeps the turbo tucked really close to the engine. So we'll have to redo our little 2 feet of total exhaust.
Holy cow.
The wastegate is definitely not in the ideal location.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Over in here.
Oh.
The wastegate's kind of shoved underneath. It's exposing a lot of heat, and being exposed to a lot of heat because the downpipe basically wraps around it, and then we just have it going out the fender. Most of the reason why it's out the fender is because, for one, weight. It uses a lot of weight. But for two, there's a big DCT transmission underneath, which doesn't leave a lot of room for the exhaust to go underneath the car.
Right.
Not to mention some of the aero disadvantages of having to run the exhaust off the back. So I'm currently just adding this little brace. It's not much, but it's just enough to keep some vibrations out of the throttle body. So vibrations usually travel starting from the crank. So without any brace to the intake manifold, the vibrations travel all the way up over where the intake manifold is mounted and all the way out, kind of like a pitchfork. So if we can brace the intake manifold back to something closer to the center of the rotating mass, we can greatly reduce vibrations and harmonics that get transmitted into this throttle body, which this is a drive-by-wire throttle body, and they're kind of known to strip the plastic ears inside. And I believe it's a lot to do with the vibrations from a K24. So just kind of redoing some of that stuff. We also did, I've started using OEM Honda brand new alternators, not remans. It's another thing that kind of we've learned over the years. It takes a lot of the vibration abuse. So OEM Honda ones seem to last the longest. We've never had one go bad yet. So put a new one of those on, and then also converted it back to an auto tensioner. We were in the past just running a single pulley and then essentially a fitted belt with no tensioner. So before, if the belt got a little worn, it would just get loose, start squealing and stuff. So now we just don't have to worry about it. We fitted a new water injection system. Just sprays water on all of our heat exchangers. A little sprayer. I've just kind of got it zip tied to the intercooler for now. We're gonna do some testing this weekend to see if one sprayer is enough or if I'm gonna have to make some more. Maybe shoot it from both sides. But yeah, we've got intercooler, transcooler, and radiator, and currently the car makes about 2-3 laps before the coolant temps start climbing, and then trans temps usually follow. So keeping this thing cool is a little difficult, and we're only at like 450 horse. So
yeah,
once we put the other motor in that makes north of 5, maybe even 600 horse, it's going to be pretty difficult to keep this thing cool.
So he programmed 3 speeds on the water pump so we can spray.
So it's essentially just a meth injection kit. We got a 2.5 gallon tank in the back, goes to a meth injection pump. You need a pump that's at least delivers some high enough pressure to create a nice fine water mist out of the nozzle. We've played with a few other simpler setups and it just didn't work the greatest.
Yeah.
We used windshield washer sprayers and stuff, which shoot like at 2 psi.
Yeah.
So like it was just big water droplets kind of being.
This sprayed pretty good. It seemed like every second, every half second, and every quarter second maybe.
Yeah,
faster.
Full blast. This thing would probably just wet the windshield and everything. So we're gonna pulse it and have that at different speeds. Never really had an issue with intake temps. The intercooler, for one, is the first thing that gets nice cool air. Plus we're running E85. So at this power level, I really don't think we have to worry too much about keeping the intercooler cool. It was the transcooler and radiator that I think are not quite efficient enough. So, I've got a dash 10 and fitting. That's just our water fill. So we'll fill up with water, and the only way to tell it's full right now is you'll start seeing water come out the plant here because that's where the overflow is. So just fill it till it overflows and be good for now.
That'll work.
Eventually we'll maybe get a level, hook up the leveler and wire that into like our dash. And
Maybe get a fuel gauge first.
Yeah, a fuel gauge.
Okay.
It's kind of fun. I think that's about it. So the intake stuff's all done. I think I'm gonna start pulling the turbo stuff off. And I think that's just about everything that needs to get ready before EMP.
I get to feel you fumbling around. How's it feel?
Not good, because as the person that designed this shouldn't be this difficult. This is all, if you notice the color of this, it's because it's been on fire a few times. What's really cool, this one was always like really close to the frame, like hitting.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why we had to like bang and cut that out. On the stock S2, this goes all the way, goes straight all the way to here. So this, look at all that room.
Together.
We have our full exhaust made up. I'm no fab guy, but I think it turned out okay. Got everything heat wrapped. Added some more heat tape and insulation stuff. Trying to keep the temps down inside the car mostly. One lap our feet were burning like hell, so maybe we won't roast our feet. Try to get this in now. Go. It seems to fit nice still. It's a good sign after welding and everything.
Alright buddy, what are you doing?
Stealing my friend's car. So yesterday it was super cloud cover and like a lot of rain. And cloud cover makes the sound readings go up. And Alex blew sound on the first session. And he headed out because it was able to get home early. But the car's still here. And there's no clouds anymore.
Time to go have some fun.
I'll probably just blow sound right away.
Hey, everything's not going to be flat. It's not the GLTC car.
Takes off nice.
Yeah, super nice. Oh, okay. we lost SuperK. Nowhere to be found. Well, crap.
Poor SuperK. Just not your day. I think that looks okay. No, look at that. I saw you go by.
That was kind of scary.
Yeah.
I bet.
I've always thought those were a bad idea. They took those threads right out of the...
Survived. Sketchy.
I think it was a control arm, right?
Yeah.
So it snapped like as I was straightening the wheel onto the front straight, starting the flyer. And it did like big bang, left rear's down, smoke in the corner. Little wiggle, and then as I lifted to like make sure I was getting offline and stuff, it did like big wiggle, big wiggle. I'm like, fuck, I just wrecked this car. And then it came back.
Oh yeah.
Just pulled the threads right out.
I say it kind of looks like that one's.
They're split. They're supposed to be split open.
know. Ah, cool. The skate thing's awesome. Thanks for testing that suspension for us, bud. Right man for the job.
Stance, bro.
All right, improvements can be made. Woo. Sketch. Super sketch.
MP, and we kind of knew that the noise was going to be an issue. This is the end of our exhaust, so we literally just right into the turbo outside the fender. So we kind of knew we were probably going to blow sound.
Yeah.
But we took it down there with just the hopes of maybe getting a few laps. We got, I think Alex did just an out lap. I don't even think he did a full lap. He just did an out lap.
So the car did.
Sound came in. So it didn't complete the full lap. Last day of the event, we're kind of thinking like, let's just try it again. I mean, we kind of probably thought it would blow sound again, but we're gonna try to maybe not full throttle it everywhere.
Got a plan.
So anyways, starting that hot lap, we had a control arm failure and pretty much lost it right across the start finish line.
Yep.
on the hot lap. It broke the control arm, and yeah, that was it. Kind of a unsuccessful test event, but you kind of have to take some of those events as, you know, that's probably, it could have been a good thing. You know, maybe that was the first event at One Lap of America, and we break the control arm and we that's screwed. We went out. So we had to overnight, like, ship stuff from Estonia. But yeah, back together now.
That's not how the quote goes.
Yes, we put a new white step kit, and then I
You just took the time to do all of it again?
yeah, kinda. What my fix for it, they have a kind of a, it's sort of a turnbuckle system, and it.
That's. Oh, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you can't see because I welded it all. But yeah, there's really just not a ton of thread engagement unless you're running the hubs like super tight inwards.
Right.
Which would be like narrower than almost stock body. So yeah, we just welded them all up, and hopefully that should be strong strong enough to keep it from pulling apart.
So it didn't even like snap an arm or anything. It just broke at the threads.
It ripped the threads out
Yeah.
of the inside of the arm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so repaired on the left rear.
Left
Just
rear, and then
replace
I
the
also
right rear
welded
too.
the right rear as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't have the same failure. And we also put in a different rear diff. The one we had,
Oh yeah.
Alex was saying it was starting to he was feeling vibrations. And we looked into the drive shaft, the axles, to make sure the wheels aren't bent or anything. Everything looked okay. And the diff we put in the car originally was just supposed to be a test diff. It has some like max lock limited slip diff. I don't know. It's some cheap LSD, and we're going to get one built up with an OS Geiken. So we just ordered another kind of test diff, if you will, and then we're going to take our old diff that was in the car, get that all rebuilt, and put the OS Geiken in there. So we're back together. We're getting ready to load the car on. Where are we going? NCM.
NCM, favorite.
NCM, and this is a critical event for this car because if it doesn't pass NCM, I'm not super confident. That's always been last year. It had to have passed NCM before we agreed to take it on one lap.
Right.
And it did. I mean, it wasn't pretty then, but it did. It drove back on the trailer. So that's kind of the rule now here. It's got to drive back on the trailer after NCM.
It's the final exam.
About 2 weeks, I think. Not even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it's one lap. And then the car's supposed to do 5,000 street miles and the track day every single day and not have any issues. So I feel good. I did some street tuning and stuff last night and this morning with just the DCT, just trying to smoothen out some of the shifts. So much better than it was on one lap last year. So seamless.
To be honest, this is the E92 M3.
Yeah.
Those are clunky on the street all the time.
Right.
Like, it's not a great street transmission.
Yeah, I've never driven one except that M4 GTS.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wasn't like trying to back that out of the shop. Like I was tripping the rear tires.
Yep.
It's a factory built car. NCM isn't for another week and a half, but we're gonna do a WRL race with that red car out there this coming weekend, and we need to get all of these cars on the second rig ready to go so that our truck driver can come just pick up the rig and then meet us down in Kentucky next Thursday. So what is today? Today's Wednesday. So in a week. Yeah.
Thanks, Shane.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, load this shit up.